bus I recently acquired for a decent price. I paid £15,000 for it. It's a Brazilian 1968 Type 2 T1 split screen camper. It's a 1500cc. These things were built in Brazil, and they were built, the Type 2 were built up until fairly recently, I believe. It's got about 40 brake horsepower, and actually I'm really impressed with the way it drives. I picked it up on a trailer, and just because it was about an hour and a half away, I didn't fancy driving all the way back. But I've been really impressed with it. It starts on the button, and the steering is pretty tight for something of this age. It's one of those things where I think when you get an old car sometimes, you either feel confident in it or you don't feel confident. Sometimes you don't feel confident because it really drives unpredictably, or every time you stop at the lights you're worried if it's going to stall or you're going to start it again. But I don't really get that with this van. Now, it's a shame really, because I'm going to be turning it into an EV project. But you know, hopefully I'll be able to sell the motor on for recoup some of my money. There's a lot that needs to be doing. I mean, if you could pan around a little bit, Kay, you can see the back. It's totally empty. It's stock. It was imported in 2015, and randomly, apparently it was imported by a lady, and she literally lived around here in Biddenden. I live in Featherston. They're right near each other, and she daily drove it for 3 years, and then she sold it to a guy in East Grinstead, Steve. Hi Steve, if you're watching. And he dry stored it for a couple of years and didn't really use it much. So I looked at loads of these on Car and Classic and on eBay, and I just thought this one it just looked a little bit tired, but not like a big job. Now, there's certainly things that need to be done on it, especially for what I want it to do. I don't want it to just look nice. I want it to really stand out and be a really good quality conversion. So not just an EV conversion, but really good standard for all the paintwork and the bodywork and everything. So up here, I've noticed there's a bits where it actually feels like filler rather than the metal, and there's a few bits of rust, and I'll no doubt find quite a bit of filler on it. But hopefully when I'm finished with it, I'll have a decent van and a decent bus to start off with. In terms of the chassis underneath, you can see there's a few homemade welds under there which need doing, and I'm sort of undecided on where I'm going to put the batteries yet, so it might be that I need to strengthen the load bay anyway, just so that we can spread it all out and they can handle the weight of the batteries. I'm sure they would. I mean, I think these things were designed for £1,500 a weight, so whatever that is in kilograms, which I don't think we're going to touch anyway. But just it's worth doing. I want to make sure it looks good, so that this is going to be to show off what I can do. So I'm not going to cut any corners whatsoever. So in terms of my plans for it, other than restore it, I want to put a Samba roof on it. You can buy the panels from Heritage VW, I think, and that means it's got the Alpine windows in it, like the Land Rovers have. They're the ones that are desirable, and that'll make it into a 23 window bus, which is the best. And it also has a sunroof. Not that you really need it in the UK, but they're the desirable models. So I'm going to cut the roof off, or look at cutting the roof off, and put a Samba roof on it. We're going to have the Safari windows, so you can open the windows out. Obviously I'll have the EV to drivetrain, and I'll probably replace this binnacle here with the information about the charge and everything. I've looked into different ways that I want to do it. So on the paint side of things, I'm a bit undecided, but I really like the look of these things when they were brought out. I love the look of when they're lowered and they've got the Porsche wheels on and all that jazz, but I think they look cool as anything when they're just standard. So I don't think I'm going to start smashing about lowering it or anything. I'm just going to replace all of the suspension, put decent brakes on it, obviously, because it's going to have a bit of an uprated power. Go through the steering box, because the steering box is a little bit vague, but it isn't bad at all. And then just bring it back to life, really, so it looks like it's just come out of the factory. These things feel underpowered, you know, they're not awful, but you wouldn't want to go on the motorway with them, really. You can, but I mean, up 55 mile an hour, and that's about its limit, really. Other than that, you really sort of put a bit of pressure on the engine. But the one I'm building, no, I'm not going stupid with the motor, but you know, I'm going to be able to sit. I could go up to over 100 mile an hour. I wouldn't want to, but if I can sit comfortably at 70 mile an hour on the motorway, and it's running efficiently, and I can get some decent miles out of it, and it runs really comfortably, then all the better. Show you just a few areas, have a look at closely at what I've got to do. So as you can see, on the roof of the rain gutter, needs some welding, well not some welding, sorry, just needs to tighten up. The windows, these are going to be safari windows, which means they open out, so they'll have hinges on them. Obviously the lights, can change all the lights to LED. Bumper just needs a bit of refurb, nothing too bad. Got the original little lights and everything on there. It's got the aerial, but that's all, to be honest, not exactly the best. It says pulling it off. Well, exactly. Rust around here. Windows are all going to be coming out. Getting the actual seats re-chromed, new seals around them. The glass I'm going to try and retain, because you can see it's got the original VW glass in it. It's got the B above it for Brazil. There's lots of little bits of rust around here. The white wall tyres are going to need changing, I would think. Like the white wall tyres, got some decent tyres on there. All around here, the roof's going to be coming off hopefully anyway. Change all the window seals. Panels don't look bad at all. Pretty pleased with the panels. A bit of rust treatment in the creases, but yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the panels. Coming around the back, obviously the lights, let it down a little bit. Paintwork obviously is all going to be done. I don't know what's happening there. It looks like it's a bit of a home job. Again, the channel, the rain channel at the top needs a bit of work. The hinge on the back will need redoing. In terms of the engine bay, this is all going to be coming out, but it doesn't look too bad in there at all. The brand new battery on it. New sound, Antonio Carlos. Obviously some Brazilian radio station or something. I might even try and tune into them. Yes, tyres seen better day. Basically these have got little clips on them, and there's one missing, so the hubcap won't stay on there. These have got the Brazilian hinges, which I understand are slightly different to the normal German built buses. Obviously this bit up here needs a fair bit of work, that's all gone. As around here, but I don't think it's awful. So inside, the actual floor pan looks okay. It actually looks like it might have had a new one, unless it's just me being optimistic, but it is in really good nick. You can see where someone's put that thing, that's where the stereo would go. Straight into the back. lights. There's loads of cool little bits, like this little sign up here, Volkswagen do Brazil. It's got all the serial number and everything on there. That's the aircon, this part up here. Just flick that, and there's another one on the driver's side. Pretty clever actually. Anyway, it's clever. These windows are really clever. So simple. You basically open them out. When you have it like that, the wind just blows straight in your face. So it's perfect for hot weather. The heating system on this has been disconnected, which isn't a problem. I don't think we're too fussed about it anyway. Obviously being in Brazil, probably didn't need the heating. Floor pan needs some treatment. Undecided really whether to get a new floor pan or to just try and save this one. I don't know what the brown stuff is. It looks like a kind of rust preventative or something. I don't know, it's kind of all over the front as well. Obviously you've got a few bits down here. We need a bit of work. And then underneath, you know, it really does not look too shabby at all. Bits like this that worry me, you know, which we'll have a look at, but you know, we're going to need to do a fair bit of fabrication. If you look at some of the valves, they're not the best, but all of this will come out, we can change all of that. But other than that, it doesn't look too bad. It's the same story on the other side. A bit of an update of how things are going. Hopefully you can hear me. A bit loud in the bus. So yeah, a few things have changed really. One of the main changes, my business idea going forward is that I've changed the name from Mechanical Wonders of Tenterden. There's a few reasons. A few people, I've got some feedback, I always listen to feedback, said it was a bit of a mouthful, didn't really explain what I did, and the other reason was that when you search Mechanical Wonder, there's a massive just entrenchment of SEO, like search engine optimization, I'd have to get over because the song by Ocean Colour Scene, which is an amazing song, but you type in that and basically there's a million hits for that, and I think that'd be a struggle. So I've changed the name of the company, and it's now called Electro Classics, which I think sort of personifies what I'm going to be doing. And in a week or so that I've spoken to you last, I've set up properly, so I've now got a proper limited company which I'm a director of. I've started building my website, which you can go on at www.electro-classics.com. So I started putting some bits on there. I've got some other things going. I've started a thing I've called the Electric Classic Car Club. We've got a Facebook page, Instagram, trying to set all of that up, so just to try and get some brand awareness really, and get my company off the ground. I've put the feelers out. Potentially I'm looking at getting a really cool site to work from, which is an old petrol station near where I live, and it's a beautiful main road, lots of passing traffic, and I think it'd be really cool where I want to go with it all. Yes, I've looked into everything like that, all traders insurance and all the boring stuff about getting set up. And then the other thing is, I've got all the first bits, so obviously I picked this up. I'm picking up the motor and all the ancillary parts on Thursday to get cracking. I've got a little unit I'm going to work from initially until hopefully the building business grows, and then I'll move into this one that I'm already in talks about. And yeah, so fingers crossed, good things are going to happen. We'll see. I mean, but you know, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. So, you know, if it makes me a millionaire, brilliant. If it just pays its way and I enjoy the experience of doing it all, then I'm more than happy with that. That's great. And the other thing I wanted to talk about really was why I'm doing it, why I think that this is going to really kick off in the next few years. I mean, this, as an example, is a beautiful bus, you know, but you know, you buy this kind of thing for the looks. You don't buy it for the engine. I mean, 40 brake horse, couldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding. It's loud as anything. It's not that easy to drive. You know, you're constantly up and down through the gears because you've got quite short gear ratios. It's not relaxing, it's not powerful, probably not reliable, certainly not green. And with this sort of thing, you can have all of the above. You can have a green engine that's powerful, it's reliable, that's easy to drive, it's quiet, but you still retain the cool factor of having a split screen. And that can be said for loads of different stuff. A lot of the VWs, you know, the Minis, you know, I've had a beautiful classic Mini in the past, which I spent a lot of money on, even doing the engine. 93 brake horse I got out of too, which doesn't sound a lot, but in a Mini it's quite a lot. And it was a brilliant little car. But, you know, it did used to let me down, you know, broke down on the way to London to Brighton once, and you won't get that with electric vehicles, you know. If you're somebody who just occasionally pulls your car out of the shed, spends more time washing it than driving it, then this might be for you. You know, the problem with old cars is they're notoriously unreliable, and you know, you keep it in your shed, and then that one day comes in April, a beautiful day comes up, and you think, oh, I'm going to get it out and take it for a nice little drive, and just everything goes wrong on it. You know, it's either frozen oil light, or there's a fault come up, or there's a short on one of the electrics. So it's just something that it won't start, the carb's gone gummy and you need to clean it out. And you just don't have that with electric cars. You know, you charge them up and they go. And that's as simple as that.